Well, thanks for coming in. We appreciate
Sir.
you being in here. What's it been like your first few months being in Columbia and I guess adjusting to a new team and new college and city and all that stuff?
It's been amazing so far. Very different, very different culture, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. I think my biggest adjustment was just getting used to new faces in a new state because I've been in North Carolina my whole life. Really only 10 minutes from my mom, so I would really just go home every day and not being able to go home was like a little tough for me. But over the past few months, I've really enjoyed being here with the team.
You're obviously an older guy who's, been around the block a good time or two in college football. Just how do you feel like you're adjusting to this offense specifically coming from what Wake ran last year?
So I'm still adjusting really, coming from a slow paced offense where, we're skipping to the line of scrimmage and reading the linebackers very slowly. Now it's just you're going right downhill, and that's just something that I've never done before, and it's something that I'm still getting adjusted to. So hopefully by spring game, I have it all down so you guys can see it.
A lot of people around here are pretty familiar with what Wake Forest does on offense, and it's pretty unique. What's a running back's perspective on it? What can you share with us about the specifics and that kind of thing that makes it different for you playing running back there?
Okay, yeah. So the RPO offense at Wake Forest is very unique. It gives the quarterback a chance to pretty much read the whole defense. He's just not reading the defensive end, but he's reading the linebacker, the safety, and for the running back, we have keys we had to read, so we had to read all the linebackers and safeties to know like whether we're getting the ball or not. So half of the time, really, we're just reading. Like it's so slow to the point where you're just reading the whole defense, and you're looking for an open gap. So that's pretty much just the offense, really. It's just a slow pace RPO, really a run first offense. But, when they crowd the box in the ACC, it just opens up lanes for wide receivers.
Christian, you mentioned your mom. Is she going to get to come down to the spring game this week? Is she going to make it down?
Oh, yeah, she's going to make it down. She's in Tennessee right now for a business trip. So she'll be here on Friday, I believe.
And to get to have her here, I guess what's that going to mean for you? And I guess how exciting is that, too, to get to have her in the stands here at South Carolina as well?
Oh, it's going to mean the world. She loves Willie B. She thinks it's humongous. So for her to be in the stands is going to be – she's usually there for every single game all last year, all my 4 years, 5 years at Wake Forest. She's been to every single game. And for her just to be able to come, just drive 2 hours and 30 minutes right down, we could say it's right down the road from her. So it's going to be fun.
So it sounds like maybe she came on a visit with you before you got on campus. Would that be correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I guess just kind of take us a little bit into your and your mom's relationship a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay.
It sounds like you guys are super, super close.
Yeah.
Where does that stem from, you think, and just how influential has she been on you in your life?
Yeah, me and my family, we're really, really close. Like, we FaceTime maybe about 4 times a day, even though she's at work. It's a group. We have a family group chat. We're always talking about, things that happen at work, how was classes. I have 4 other brothers, so we're still chopping it up with them. Just making sure everybody's having a good day and just staying positive. My mom, she's the one that inspires us to do everything. Like, because, from my past, my brothers aren't all like in the same house together. Like, they have all ended up in different roads. It's just me and my brothers are really only 2 that's in the house right now. So we're just all looking out for each other, making sure everybody's good, in a happy place, in a happy state of mind. So my family's the world to me.
Christian, your mom going to bring some food down with her?
Me personally, I love banana pudding.
Okay.
I can eat that all day long. You know what? I might just tell her to bring
Yeah,
some
just
now
bring
that you
some
say
home
that.
cooked- what are some of the things she cooks that you enjoy? The banana pudding, number one?
Yeah, banana pudding. She makes a mean lobster mac and cheese.
Okay.
She makes anything, but I personally don't know how to cook to save my life. I try to watch her, but I get too caught up in eating as the food is being prepared. So, yeah.
I guess in terms of your skill set, what do you feel like you can help bring to this offense going into not only the spring game, but then obviously training camp and the rest of the season?
I mean, I feel like I can bring in a little bit of what a typical running back can do. I can block, I can run the ball. I can play special teams. I'm someone that wants to be out there on the field no matter what. So, if that's taking a role on special teams on all 4 units, I'm with that. I'm down to do that. If it's playing running back, being all 4 down running back, and I'm with that too.
To piggyback off that, I mean, knowing how competitive and how deep that running back room is, do you try to find a niche? Do you try to just go out there and try to be, the old Christian Beal-Smith that you have been your entire career? I mean, how difficult can that be at times knowing, okay, the reps might be a little bit limited in comparison to years past at Wake or in high school, but you know that you're trying to find out there and just find a way to get onto the field?
It's a competitive room, I can tell you that. I just go out each day just trying to be a better version of me than I was yesterday. So, and with the work of all the other running backs in the room, we all compete, so that makes everybody work just as hard. And as for another thing about the running backs is that, we're all tight, we're all close. We're not gonna let each other fail. We're gonna pick each other up. We're gonna allow persons to get certain amount of reps because, that's what they need. They need reps in order to, achieve and to get better in this offense.
Thank you. I guess you probably realize that when people talk about Wake Forest, it's sort of like the little engine that could. And what do you remember about last season? Why did it all come together for you guys? You won 11 games. You played for the ACC championship. And why did it go so well for you? And is there anything you take away from that might help South Carolina, help you at South Carolina this year?
So our motto last year at Wake Forest was good to great. We were an average team. We made it to 4 or 5 consecutive bowl games, and we felt like we can be better than that. And that's something that I can see at South Carolina. They had a 66 season. We got so much talent in here, and I can see that motto being used here at South Carolina because there are some ballers here. A lot of potential, a lot of athletes, and a lot of potential to go to the NFL. So for us at South Carolina, for the Gamecocks, we have to just build a tight team chemistry, just knowing that we can rely on somebody that's next to us. We can rely on a second string, a third string. We can rely on everybody on the field.
Obviously, a lot of people around here are happy that you chose to come here and play your extra year of college here. And maybe some people on the outside wonder why not test the NFL route. What was sort of your mindset? What went into your decision with wanting to take advantage of your extra year that you got?
Yeah, so I didn't have the season that I was planning on. Like I had a few injuries last year with the high ankle sprain at the UNC game. I believe it was the UNC game. But yeah, I kind of wanted, like my dream was to go to the NFL that year. But after that Clemson game, after sitting out that game, I felt like I deserve another year. I deserve to show my true talent, Then I just wanted to stay in school. Really, I didn't want to become a grown-up yet.
Christian, in terms of what the offense looks like Saturday night in the spring game, what's a successful day look like individually for you and for the offense as a whole?
For me, it's just having no misassignments, because I've struggled a little bit learning a new offense, just having fun, really. Just going back to just having fun, not having to think about what I have to do on each play. Just going out there and having fun, just for the offense, we just want to beat up the defense. We want to be able to run the ball. We want to be able to pass the ball. So that's a good day for the offense, just being able to do everything that we can to score the ball and to win.
Since you mentioned Clemson, I got to ask you about them then. What's sort of your take on them, and did you just want to play somewhere where you knew you could play them every year, or was it not quite like that for you?
So I have a few friends on the Clemson defense, actually. I was looking at South Carolina, and then one of my boys hit me up, KJ Henry at Clemson, and he was like, I've been playing you for the past 4 years. We played each other in high school. He was like, go to South Carolina and become my actual rival, because we were rivals in high school. And so, I looked at that and I was just like, God, if I can just beat him one more time. And so I know we can get it done here in South Carolina. So that was one of my decisions.
Kenneth Walker was one of your former teammates at Wake for 2 years. Do you talk to him at all and have some sort of mentorship relationship after he was in a recent situation transferring out and having success?
Oh, yeah, we're very close. I just talked to him maybe about a week ago just to check up on him, see how he's doing with, his draft stocks and everything. So right now I would say I was his big brother when he was in college, but now he's kind of turned into my big brother in terms of, just walking me through the process of, like, how was his transfer. And I would just say that we have a close relationship to the point where I can say that now he's my big brother.
So KJ Henry recruited you to South Carolina, is that what you're saying?
Nah, he didn't recruit me, but Coach Beamer did a really, really good job of, reaching out to his player, like to guys in the transfer portal and actually showing interest with players.
And obviously you're one of several transfer guys. What's it been like building that sort of camaraderie maybe with those other guys coming in like that?
It's been great. Just hearing Coach Beamer talk in the team rooms, you can see that he's, like, passionate of what he's doing. He brings up the transfers, he doesn't just single us out because we weren't here last year, but he knows that as transfers, we can help the team and make the team better.
Christian, I guess before you had started getting recruited by the staff here, just kind of what was your previous run-ins with the South Carolina football program? What did you kind of just know about this place before you stepped foot on campus? And then two, how much of it was an appeal to play football in the SEC coming from an ACC school?
So I would say I definitely wanted to, change conferences. I just wanted to, branch out to somewhere that was highly looked at by NFL scouts. Not saying that ACC is not, but the SEC is, like, they say the competition is better in the SEC. So I decided I wanted to take that next step and be able to prepare myself with, in the SEC football conference. And I think that was it with that question.
What did you know about
Oh, what did I know about South Carolina? Honestly, I didn't know anything about South Carolina, really. I'm not big on football. I play it so much to the point where I'm just like, once football is done for the day, I kind of want to chill and relax and just think about, other things other than football. But, I do love playing the sport. Don't get me wrong. I love playing the sport. But it's just sometimes you got to, chill out a little bit.
I guess kind of to that. What are kind of your things that you like to do when you're chilling out a little bit and getting away from football and in that downtime?
Okay, so I'm big Warzone guy. Big Warzone. I play with Marshawn, DJ Twitty every single day. My little brothers get on. They make friends with Marshawn and them. He absolutely loves it. So I love when just my teammates, my brothers now, are all getting along with my family members, even though they haven't met them yet. So it's good.
So who's the better player, you or Marshawn? Is it kind of go back and forth, or you got him right now?
Nah, it goes back and forth. I give him that. It goes back and forth.
You kind of touched on it, but as far as Kenneth and you mentioned kind of him turning into a little bit of big brother for you now on this side of it. I guess what are maybe some of the things you've learned from him in this process and transferring and everything that kind of goes with that, or maybe what are some of the things that y'all have discussed or learned and talked about through all that?
Okay, so he spoke to me about when he first transferred, like how he, wasn't the big guy anymore. He was just a soul there pretty much because he didn't know anybody. And that's how, like, when I came here, I didn't know anybody at all. I knew Eric Doug previously from the Shrine Bowl. And that's about it. I think I only knew E. Doug, but he just told me, keep your head up, keep grinding each day. He said that at Michigan State, they looked down on him at first, but he just kept progressing. He kept working harder than everybody, and he finally got that shot. And once he got that shot, Doak Walker Award, or a winner, actually. So, I just want to follow in his footsteps with that, transferring to a new school. I just want to keep working hard, keep being the best version of me each day.
Just as you kind of wrap up spring, who are some of the defensive guys that have really kind of caught your eye going up against him, either in one-on-ones or 11-on-11 work?
Everybody's standing out, really, because, it's not often that I can say that I see a lot more defensive guys in the backfield, because I've never been in an offense with, tight sets. In the ACC, we've always just spread it out, everybody. So, I've seen a lot of standouts from Pickens, RJ, Cam Smith, Debo, Mo Kava. Mo Kava's big. Mo Kava's been having a great spring ball. All those guys, they said that South Carolina was the top one of the top defenses in the SEC, and they're really showing it.
Gonna let him go? Oh. Wants to come back again someday?
All right. Thank you so much.